What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Talktagon, episode 3 here on Bodyslam Net. We are here on socials, X, Twitch, YouTube, all that good stuff. So if you are watching on Twitch or YouTube, make sure to follow, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. But yeah, episode 3, we're back. I'm Brady. This is Max. As always, you can find us right here at the links below our pictures. But we have some UFC 312 to talk about. Man, first of all, overall, how are you doing, Max?
Doing pretty good. I'm excited for the Super Bowl later today, and we had a pretty fun card yesterday.
Yeah.
I know me and Brady were just saying we saw some people hating on yesterday's card online. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty decent card, especially the prelims.
Yeah.
The prelims started out really hot, but yeah, I mean, not the most stacked in terms of star power, but I mean, I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, I thought this was one of those cards where you look at it on paper, and I'll be fully honest, I was like, man, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be boring. They did not stack this card. Other than the top two, this card was whatever. But it turned out great. This is one where you have to tune in for, because if you just look at it on paper, you're like, I don't want to watch that. But then when you do watch that, it was great, especially the prelims,
Yeah,
which we will obviously get into first. Coming off of the prelims last week, so if you didn't see last week, man, the first fight on the prelims, especially early card, it was like 9 a.m. Man, that was so boring. It was
yeah.
putting me back to sleep. But then this week, on the flip side, it didn't have time to be boring. So,
No.
yeah, we'll kick off with our first fight of the night. As always, we have our predictions, which we did post before for the first time. We remembered. And now
We're on top
we
of
have
it.
them here. We did prelims started off solid, and we had some ups and downs, but yeah, here we go. So we kicked off with the debuting Quinlan Salakid versus Anshul Jubilee, and it was 19
Quick one.
seconds. So yeah, this fight was 19 seconds long. We had Quinlan come out and knock Anshul Jubilee out in, again, 19 seconds, one punch knockout. A little bit of controversy though. He did get hit, he dropped, and then he grabbed his legs, and then the ref called it, and then he was holding on, and then he complained. I guess first things first. Did you think it was a quick early stoppage?
Maybe in hindsight, I think that he wasn't as hurt as I initially thought. Because when he went down, I honestly thought it was done right there. And then the way he covered his face when he went down, I can definitely see why the ref stopped it. Looking back at it, maybe he wasn't as hurt. He wasn't as out cold as I thought he was. But I do still think hindsight's always 20/20. And in there in the ring, I think that he was on his way out. Let's be real. I think that it's probably going to be one way or another. He's going to KO'd one way or another. If he still survived, obviously that's not a for sure, but that'd be my guess. So I'm not too mad at it. I think that I'd always rather see an early stoppage than a late stoppage. That's my perspective.
100%. And yeah, I'm in the middle on this because, like you said, in hindsight, maybe he was okay, but he covered up. You can't cover up after you
Yeah.
get dropped like that and then do this
Not
and
even
lay there
looking.
on your
Yeah.
side. Yeah, you can't do that. So I don't fault the ref at all for this. If he was fine, he would have got hit, fell, and tried to scramble, immediately roll. He just curled up. So
Yeah,
it's
it was
like, what do you expect? You know what I mean? And then,
totally.
yeah, so I didn't think it was a terrible stoppage, but we did both pick him. So, hey,
Yeah, 1-0 for both of us.
1-0
Started out
kicking off,
strong.
and then started going downhill. But overall, good debut for Quinlan. I think he'll have some issues against some other people, but I think we need to see more of him.
Yeah,
We only
exactly.
got to see one punch, so I want to
Yeah.
see more.
Yeah, I
Oh,
agree. I kind of liked his little celebration at the end. Did a nice little dance, little stogie. Yeah, so I think that I'm excited to see him hopefully turn around as soon as possible. I mean, he didn't take any damage, so
yeah,
I would hope that he's back in there in 2 months or maybe less.
and he did get that bonus. He was one of the people who got a
Oh, he
bonus.
did?
So
Awesome. Love to see that,
shout out to
especially
him
for those
that.
debutantes. That 50K
That's
really
big.
goes a long way for them.
100%. I believe, if I'm not wrong, 2 of the bonuses were on the prelims and then one on main card. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, shout out to the
Um,
prelim gang. That's why you have to tune in to the prelims. You not only see lots of crazy fights, but you get to say, "Oh, I saw that fighter's debut," and then if they, go all the way to the top, you can be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I watched their entire career start to finish." So, I think the
Exactly.
prelims, it's definitely a time commitment, but worth.
And a big thing here is that we obviously didn't really mention, but this is in Australia. A lot, I think almost all but one of these prospects were from Australia, New Zealand area.
Yeah,
So
they showed out.
to be on a pay-per-view card for your debut in your home country, and especially for Quinlan to do that, like
Pretty
that's
cool.
insane. Yeah. But we did move on to Jonathan Micallef versus the French dude, Kevin Gisset. I went with Gisset. You went with Micallef. And obviously, as you can see here, you got the win on this one. So I am 1-1. You are 2-0. But as far as the fight goes, this was this didn't go how I expected it to go, but it was a great fight. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I thought that Gisette would come out maybe a little more push the pace, especially coming off of some big losses. I thought he'd come out and try and show out here. He did okay. His kicks were solid to the legs, but Micallef, especially in the early parts, was just beating him up with the hands. But
Yeah.
I will say Gisette has one hell of a chin.
Yeah.
One hell of a chin. He
Totally.
got dropped with a head kick and ate it.
Mm,
I think he got hit with another front kick, ate it. He was
Yeah.
like, fuck you, I'm going to just keep walking forward. But he wasn't throwing enough damaging shots to really pull it out. So Micallef did win a unanimous decision, 29-28, with all three judges.
Yeah, dude.
But again, good fight.
Yeah, that was a solid fight. I thought that maybe it was gonna be one-sided after Jusek got dropped, but he made it a fight after that. And Micallef has this crazy power in those kicks, dude. It's like he was kind of spamming it. He did it like a lot. It kind of got predictable. But dude, that rear kick has so much power in it. I see why he throws it so much.
I literally put in my notes. Kicks, baseball bat. That's it.
Exactly.
That's what it sounded like. He was kicking the shit out of him. It sounded like he was hitting a baseball.
That was insane. And he kind of gassed out just a tiny bit in the end, but Gisset is not a scrub in there. And I thought it was interesting that there wasn't much grappling at all. It was pretty much mostly stand-up. I thought maybe Gisset would use his judo, but I think that he was honestly the smaller guy in there. And I don't think he had any power to really get Micallef out of there. And Micallef had a lot of power.
Yeah, he kind of had some grappling exchanges like right at the end, but too late. He should have. Man, if it were me after I got kicked in my head like that in the early round and dropped, I would have been wrestle heavy the rest of the way because it just, like I said, Joseph had some decent stuff here. Like he was poking that jab out, and he did actually bust up his eye a little bit, Micallef's eye. It was a little bruised. I don't want to spoilers, but it was similar to the main event in a way.
Yeah,
where we'll get to it. But he was landing one good shot, but then Micallef was doing like 100 good shots. So he couldn't catch up. He needed to really put his punches together in a combination or, again, wrestle, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And Micallef kind of just pulled away there. Like you said, he did get tired in the third, but it didn't matter at that point. He was already up. Like I said, 29-28 on all scorecards, he was already up. So, yeah. Solid fight,
pretty exciting prospect. I think that I'm interested to see what Micallef goes from here. It's crazy. He looks like a pretty big welterweight, honestly.
He's tall.
Yeah, and he's pretty beefy in there. And man, he's got power. So I'm looking forward to his next fight.
Yes, sir. Me too. So this was again 1-1 for me, 2-0 for you, and then I started cooking a little bit. I was cooking a little bit. We moved on to Rongju versus Cody Steele. And this was, I'll tell you right now, this got the bonus for fight of the night. So $50,000 for these two guys for fight of the night because they absolutely deserved it. This
Yeah.
was insane. This is why you don't miss the prelims, because there is potential for a fight like this.
Yeah.
So I'll just say
Insane.
that Rongju defeated Cody Steele via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. And I put in my notes, insane war, because that's what this was.
Oh, yeah.
Cody wrestle heavy, usually, but he decided, fuck you, we're throwing hands tonight. And Rongju was like, okay, let's go. So they just started throwing hands.
Insane, dude.
Crazy.
That was basically the whole fight.
From bell to bell, yeah. They were just throwing bombs. And I just want to – he lost, but huge shout-out to Cody Steele. How he was standing, I don't know. His chin is crazy.
For real.
Rongju was hitting him with clean shots to the point where his head was like cracking back to the side. I have
no idea how he stayed in there. Yeah, I feel like
he didn't drop him. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I think, dude, that was one of the craziest fights I've ever seen. Where it was like Rongju just became in a flow state where it was like every jab he threw was landing like badly. Yeah. Like it was like automatic. Like Steele has won a hell of a chin, like you said, dude. I thought he would be out of there after that. Like after he started out really competitive, and then it kind of became more of like, man, this guy's toughness is insane. Where Rongju was just on his ass the entire fight, dude. Like that jab was insane, bro. Yeah. Like I've never seen a jab like that, especially in MMA, where it's just like automatic. Like every single time he was throwing it, it was snapping his head back. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god, I just don't know how. I just don't know how it wasn't a finish with how much punches were landed. Like, oh 100%. My god, dude. Like
Cody's tough. Rongju had freaking. That's where he got his last name from.
Yeah, they need to change his nickname. Cody Chin of is his nickname.
For
Chin
real.
Of. Chin of Steel.
Rongju had, I don't know, fire, magic, something in his hands that it just magnets. It just wouldn't stop connecting. But I will note that he did switch over and was training with City Kickboxing and Eugene Behrman and then guys like Izzy and all them. So that certainly helped because
you could tell
clearly, he looked like a whole new fighter.
It was absolutely insane, dude. And he's only 24, and he's had like 30 pro fights, dude. Like this guy has some experience, but he's only 24. Like it's insane, dude. I was a little worried about this fight. I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna get this one done. We've seen Rongju have not the best success in the UFC, but man, this was his best performance by far. And he's only 24, like I said. So this could just be the start for him. Like it's insane. With 30 fights in, this could just be where he's putting it all together now. Like that was insane.
Yeah, I picked Rongju in this fight. Again, Cody was undefeated, but so not anymore. But I did pick Rongju because I don't know. I just picked it. This was hard to pick because I really thought there was a possibility that Cody could come in here, take him down, and then that would be the fight. He'd get him down, wrestle him and do all that type of stuff. But I just felt like, I don't know. I'm just going to go with Rongju in this one. I'm glad I did.
For real.
No wrestling at all. Rongju was just like, I don't know, a different person tonight.
Yeah.
And
Steele would try, but Rongju would get up.
He was swinging. Cody was like just swinging especially in that third round. He was like, fuck it, I'm just trying anything. And he was
that ending sequence, bro, where they both were just.
Yeah, they did the Gagey Holloway type thing, and they was like, let's fucking go. And
no idea
was
how
bleeding out of his head. Yeah.
He started screaming after. Oh my god!
10 seconds, he's screaming. It was awesome.
Fight of the night by far.
Yes, Rongju did get the win again, 30-27, all the judges, and that was the end of the early prelims because one fight did get canceled. But as far as 3 for 3, in my opinion, early prelims were awesome. All 3 fights, bangers. So again, way better than last week. You got to watch these prelims because sometimes they're fantastic. And then we did go into an undercard fight that I thought, later prelim fight that I thought was probably the most talked about as far as who was in a part of it. And that was the debut of the brother of Ilya Taporia, Alexandre Topuria versus Colby Thickness. Now you did go with Thickness. I said last week
thickness,
and I switched it. I went Taporia because I just thought, I don't know. I'm just gonna pick this guy, try and get a win. Thank God I did. But Taporia did get the win here, and it was a unanimous decision across the board, 30-27.
Yeah.
So this fight was solid.
Mm-hmm.
This was not the most exciting fight, but certainly not the most boring fight. I did think that I did have one critique for Taporia here. I did write down that I thought that Taporia didn't really try his best to go for the finish. He had him hurt, I think 2 or 3 times, and just like he was patient, and in a good way, it worked out for him. But I think he was just too patient, way too patient, where he was like, I don't know, he had no urgency when Colby was hurt, and he was just like going with emotion,
Yeah.
and it helped. Obviously, it got him a win, 30-27. He won every round. But he didn't really have the most urgency to get a finish like his brother has.
Yeah, you could say that.
But he did decent. I mean, his shots were connecting. They made mention that maybe his power isn't as crazy as his brother's, but he skill-wise, very fluent in there, like
Yeah,
landing, but he
it
just
definitely
wasn't
looks a lot like the style, like with the stance in there.
100%. It just wasn't
Definitely.
the power just wasn't there.
Yeah.
That was, but he did hurt him. He did hurt him once, like pretty badly, and wobbled him. But again, didn't really push the pace to try and get a finish. So that
Yeah.
was my one critique there.
Yeah, I agree. I think thickness was kind of on the back foot a lot. So I will say, in fairness to Poya there, it is kind of harder to get the power needed when the guy's already going backwards. You really got to be a hard hitter to get him knocked out going backwards. But yeah, I think that Slickness still should put up a pretty decent fight for what a lot of people, I think, expected. I honestly thought that he could honestly get the crazy upset because Tapoya hasn't fought in like 2 years, I think. So I feel like that maybe had to do with Tapoya being a little bit inactive in terms of volume in there. But yeah, like you said, dude, not much to say other than he got the job done. Like, he didn't really get hurt much, Tapoya, so I think he should be able to turn around pretty quickly. He's probably going to help coach Ilya as well, as usual. So I wonder if they're going to get them on the same card or something, because I feel like that'd be fun. Get the two brothers fighting on the same card,
And
maybe in Spain.
Tapoya should be fighting soon-ish.
Yeah, so
soon-ish. We'll see.
I think he definitely has a lot of good traits. He just didn't exactly put it together in this fight where we saw the crazy suplex. We know he has good wrestling. We know he has pretty decent striking. So I think that we need to see him in there a little bit more to really see how good he really is. Because with same thing with thickness, where was thickness really just like that good, or was Tapoya just not having a good night? Because I think it's hard to tell when both guys are debut fighters, where you haven't really seen either one of them on the top level. So you can't really compare like this performance to their other performances because neither of these guys have been in the UFC previously. And that's the same as it goes for all their fights. So this one I definitely think could be a stepping block for Tapoya to become, a big star like his younger brother, but he's going to need to start getting some crazy finishes if he wants to be in that same conversation.
100%. And then I did want to note, after the fight, Tapoya won. He got the mic time and did say that Colby was a great fighter and very strong, and he hopes that UFC gives him another opportunity, which I think
they should.
I think they should, and I think they will, because, again, for Colby, this was taken on short notice. So
yeah. Dude, and his name is Thickness, dude. Fan favorite.
Yeah. Slickness, thickness. Give him another shot. And I think they will. But, again, I went with Taporia.
Yep.
You went with thickness.
I thought Thickness could get the upset.
You're 2-2. I came back with a little bit of 3-1, but then it started going downhill for me and way up for you. So we have Hong Kong versus Bruna Brazil up next. This
crazy
was a solid fight. I thought Hong Kong defeated Bruna Brazil 30-27 across the board. And so my thought process here with going with Bruna was the not this fight, but the fight before for Kong. She comes out and was a little too aggressive, got caught in an exchange and got knocked out. I thought that maybe this would be the case again.
And that was just in November too, so that was like not even long ago at all.
Yeah, Bruna Brazil also training with the fighting nerds. She had Kaio in her corner. I thought, there's something's in the water down in the fighting nerd gym. So
Right?
you don't know with those guys, but this did not go the way I thought. Obviously, Wong Kong is a hell of a boxer, like
Yeah.
very slick on the feet, and I think she was just way too fast for Brazil. And I wrote in my notes here, Bruna Brazil just froze. That's what I
Yeah.
put because it was just like she just froze. I mean, she didn't have anything for Kong. It was like she would dig at the leg kicks. That was her like biggest thing was going after legs, but it wasn't anything crazy. And her corner was like screaming at her to like do something, and she
Yeah.
just didn't. And she was like, they were just like, go, 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 especially in the later rounds. Like, you need a finish, like, do something, go. And she was like, nah. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if she was just like way too overwhelmed by the speed and maybe the power, and she just
Yeah.
didn't want to get knocked out. But Kong, on the
Yeah.
other hand, just hands, much like Rong Zhu, hands could not stop connecting, and she
Yeah.
was finding the mark every single time. So, yeah.
Yeah, dude. That was definitely not the most exciting fight because, yeah, like you said, Brazil was kind of just standing in front of her and not really giving much resistance. I mean, respect for Brazil for making it to the end of the fight, but, I mean, that's pretty much it. I honestly was kind of skeptical going with Kong here because of that last performance where she was a huge favorite, comes out there, doesn't get the win, and then turns around in like less than 2 or like maybe 2 months, less than 3 months after that loss. And I was definitely worried, but I thought she could get it done, and she did. I think that she just is a little bit too good for Brazil. I think that Brazil's kind of small for that weight class, and I think Kong fills in really nicely, and I'm excited for her to get back in the win column now, and I want to see where she fights next. I mean, she clearly doesn't care about turnarounds after her last loss. She turned around this quickly, so I want to see her back in there next month.
And commentary made mention. I don't know if this is true or not because I never heard this, but they mentioned that Wang was supposed to be in the Olympics as a boxer for China, but turned it down to do MMA, which is
That is
wild.
insane.
If that's true, that's what they said. That's what
Hey,
DC and Atlantic said. I'm like, holy shit. That's
bro,
not like who
she
would turn
definitely
down the
has some
Olympics? I don't
striking.
know.
Yeah, she probably was just like, hey, I don't know, maybe they don't get paid
I
for
need money.
the
Yeah.
Olympics, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So she did, yeah. She did great with
Got
the
the
hands,
W,
but
man.
again,
Did what she needed to do. I mean, I think she could have got the finish maybe if she went and pushed a little more, but hey,
yeah.
it is what it is.
I don't think that she had, especially in the later rounds, I don't think, I mean, who knows in her mind? Maybe she got hit with something that was like made her a little tentative, but I don't think that Bruna Brazil was going to knock her out. So I think
Yeah,
she could have went for it. But hey, she got the win 30-27, so that's huge. And again, I sadly went with Bruna Brazil here, and you went with Wong. So you're up. We're tied now.
yeah, we're
3
tied
2.
3-2 so far. We're heading
And then
into
it goes
the last
downhill.
two.
Tom Nolan
This is a
versus
crazy one.
Vyacheslav
Nolan.
Borishev. Man, Tom Nolan gets the win. This fight was fun. So, Tom Nolan defeated Borishev 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. Tom Nolan, prospect here from the New Zealand, Australia area, and is only 24 years old. But this boy is big. He is tall. He is rangy.
Lanky.
His arms, his legs, they're so lanky.
155. Yeah, 6'3"
Yeah.
at 155. I'm like, that is crazy for
Nicknamed Big
155.
Train.
Yeah,
He should not be
accurate.
a 155er, but
Yeah,
he
right?
is. And he towered over Borishev. Now, the reason why I picked Borishev is because this guy is the demon, and we saw it here. Like, he won't go out. He just won't. So I
Mm.
thought maybe the toughness would maybe outweigh the younger kid. But hey, shout out to Nolan. He really, I don't want to say survived because he was doing a lot of the damage, but he stuck in there and didn't get discouraged by the absolute toughness, I guess, of Borishev. Because so Tom Nolan was again big shots landed, the kicks landing. Borishev was cut up early. His eyes His head eventually did get split open in the later rounds, but he was getting beat up, especially from Nolan's back. So Tom Nolan would go on the ground and was landing every single up kick. Like
Yeah,
he
that was
couldn't miss
crazy.
the up kicks.
Yeah.
And then when Porsche finally would get him in full mount, then he was landing elbows and punches on the ground, and it was like, you're getting your ass beat from the top position. Just get up, I guess.
That was
But then when he's
insane.
up, he's getting beat up on the feet. So it was, Tom
Dude,
Nolan, kid's
huge
good.
performance. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Insane performance. I definitely did not see this sort of like amazing performance coming. I was definitely worried for him coming in against Borchev, where we've seen Borchev have these crazy performances in there, and Nolan is pretty relatively unproven at this level. And I think that Nolan, man, I think that at 155 he could be a major player because it's just
Especially the
crazy. How
size.
does he make that weight? He's like Australian Jalen Turner. It's like, how is he that tall at that weight? I'm like, bro,
That's good comparison.
uh-oh. So I
Yeah.
want to see him back in there too. And I think this is probably one of the prospects I'm most excited about in this card because the weapons that he has. I mean, he was showing it all. Like, he's dangerous on the ground. He's dangerous standing up. I mean, he's freaking 6'3" for a 155er. Like, crazy. I definitely think that he could be, a new star for that region. They clearly want to push that region now that some of their fighters are getting a little older. Some of the generation, Izzy, Volk, those guys, Tai Tuivasa. We saw Tafa, unfortunately, go down later in the fight. So, yeah, I think that they need that new generation of Australian, New Zealand fighters to step up and create new stars. And I think that they have a lot of options, and Tom Nolan being one of them.
Yeah, like Izzy and Volk were like the next, but now
Now
passed,
it's like,
and now we're at the next. And
I
the
know.
next is Tom Nolan, Salakild.
Yep.
We have Mikalev. We have a bunch of people. Taporia even. Obviously, he's not Australian, but like so many people, even Thickness on this card who are very young. And especially in the next fight coming up, we'll talk about a specific person. But as far as this fight, Tom Nolan, very good. Very good.
Very good.
This guy,
I'm very
I'm
interested to
excited.
see.
And he even said post-fight that usually he's ready to go. He's excited to fight. But when he got the call for this one, he was worried because he knows that Borchev is a dog and he will bring a war to you. And he did, but Tom Nolan just brought the war more.
Yeah, he
and really
passed
beat
that
him
test.
up. He did.
That was a big
100%.
test, and he passed it, dude. I mean, I really want to see him in there again ASAP. Obviously, maybe he needs a little time off because that was a tough fight, but, man, crazy.
These type of fights, if you're a young prospect and you get this opportunity, it might be scary, but if you pass this, that's fantastic because now like this is, I don't want to say he's the toughest guy in the division, but he's a very tough opponent, and you get past him, hey, I got past him. If it goes to a war again with anyone else, I have that experience. I'm good. So for a young guy, 24 years old, to go in there and have a war and win, very good. Very good experience to have. But he did win again, 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27, and you picked him. So you are right now 4-2, and I have dropped it down to 3-3. Not good. But it's only looking up. Only looking up for you as we go into Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. So first of all, Jack Jenkins cut his hair. And if I would have known that, I wouldn't have picked him. I would not have picked him if I knew he cut his hair. It's a curse.
Or a loss.
Yeah, he had that mullet, and it's now gone. He shaved his head fully, and he lost.
That was a tough one.
Gabriel Santos picked up the win via rear naked choke in round 3, but Gabriel Santos just absolutely looked unreal tonight.
Or
last night, but yeah, he was. Jack Jenkins started off decently. Obviously, huge fan favorite. The crowd is massively behind him. But Gabriel Santos just had an answer for everything. And then eventually, as the rounds went on 2-3, Jack Jenkins didn't have an answer for anything. He was taking him down. He was landing all of his shots. And then in round 3, Santos lands a nasty front kick to the face. This coming after a nasty head kick in round 1 that dropped Jenkins, and he ate it. So props to him there. But in round 3, he lands a front kick to the face, hops on him, gets a little bit of ground pound in, locks in a rear naked choke, gets a submission win. Gabriel Santos looked good. He looked good.
Yeah, that was an amazing performance, dude. Amazing. I mean, between him and Nolan, it's tough on who I'm more excited for being the best prospect and on this card, because that was an insane performance, dude. Like, he was like dominant on the feet, and clearly once it got to the ground, Jenkins was in very big trouble, because, man, that was a tight choke, dude. I was glad Jenkins was able to tap before he went out. I thought he was about to be out.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I think maybe it was the hair, lost all of his power, but man, Santos, I think it's just Santos might be the real deal. I mean,
or mix of both.
Yeah, mix of both. Where, man, Jenkins, I think, what is he? Was that his first or second loss in the UFC? I can't remember. Yeah, second loss in the UFC.
Second.
So he's definitely going to need to get back in the win column. He's 3-2 in the UFC right now, but I do think that Santos, he might have just got unlucky running into a crazy prospect, because Santos looked like he'd probably beat a lot of good guys in there.
Yeah, and he started off against some good guys, Onama and
yeah, no joke whatsoever.
I'm blanking on the first one.
Leron Murphy, I think. Yeah,
Murphy and Onama, which is
tough first two.
Yeah, not easy at all.
Tough first two back to back. He came back now. Now I think he's 2-2 in the UFC after starting 0-2. So crazy.
Yeah. And he looks like he's going to get some more wins here. So I want to see him. Very good.
I want to see him come back soon, because he didn't take too much damage in there, and I think that people are going to be excited to see him back in there.
Yeah, first submission, and actually only submission finish of the night. So shout out to him for that.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of finishes, but there was a lot of fun fights.
A lot of people that had just insane chins on this card.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you did pick Santos. So you're coming out of the prelims
crazy
5-2, and I'm coming out of the prelims 3-4. So not too hot.
Bro, I knew this one was going to be crazy, because we picked so much different fighters on that one. Normally we have some similarities, but that prelims we really switched it up.
Yeah, and it was only better as we head into, if I can share it here, bang, the main card. We kick off with Jake Matthews versus Francisco Prado. We both picked Matthews, and we got it done here. Jake Matthews picks up the win, 30-27 across the board, defeats Francisco Prado. Man, Jake Matthews, he looked very crisp in the boxing. He couldn't miss. He was super fast. I think way too fast for Prado. But I did want to mention something as far as Prado goes. Jake Matthews looked fucking huge in there. Yeah. Prado did not. But I think that Prado's too big for 155, but too small for 170. So, man, he's going to have a tough time. He's going to have a really tough time. Because if you can't make that 155, you're stuck at 170. There's nothing else. And then you're just going to get your ass beat by these monsters like Jake Matthews, who are way bigger than you. I was shocked to see how short Prado was in comparison to Jake Matthews, who I previously didn't think was that big, but he looked way bigger than Prado in there. Like, holy shit.
100%, dude. It's like Prado just has that build where, bro, he's short and stocky, like, bro. Like,
he's
like thickness-wise, they're pretty similar, but height and like length-wise, he was tiny in there, dude. Like,
short arms, couldn't reach.
You could barely reach him.
He's standing back and he's connecting the whole time, and then Prado really had to get in. But by the time he was in, Matthews was out. So he just had such a rough time.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him. He was getting styled on a little bit in there.
Totally. I think, man, Prado showed some toughness, though, for sure, because he was definitely getting his ass whooped pretty bad in there. And because he was pretty tiny in there, but he lasted all three. I think Matthews just keeps showing that Matthews keeps improving. I mean, he's been in the UFC for like a decade, and he's only 30 or 31.
11 years in the UFC, and it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, I mean,
but 11 years in the UFC is crazy.
It feels like not long ago he was just the young fighter on the block. Now I'm like, damn, he's 30. I'm like, damn.
Yeah,
Jake Matthews is 30.
Came in at 19 years old.
Crazy,
and now
dude.
Still going at it
For
and
real,
winning.
And winning. And I feel like, with Matthews, there's some fighters who in the UFC for a really long time, but they don't keep getting better. They just kind of stay the same. But I feel like Matthews is getting better every time I see him, man. I feel like his boxing keeps getting crispier. And I think that in front of the hometown crowd, I think that that was a huge performance because that was a beating. I don't know how Prado's got a big block head, so that's probably why I didn't go down.
I was going to say,
he could take a hit.
This was another fight where anyone else, Jake Matthews might have got a finish, but Prado's chin and head was just insane. So it's like we weren't getting a lot of finishes on this card, but it's because the people who were losing chins are out of the world. Like, how was he surviving this? I don't know, but he did. So I can't really be mad that there wasn't finishes when, like, what else are you supposed to do? Hit him with a baseball bat for real?
Right.
Like,
for real, WWE, give him a chair.
Yeah, like you can't do anything if the guy's surviving. And we see that later on too in a couple of other fights. But like, if the guy's surviving, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah,
you can't we can't be like, oh man, he should have got that finish, or there was not as many finishes as we would have liked in this card. But like, they're doing it.
Yeah,
it's not like they're trying. They're definitely trying. So
they're definitely trying for the finish. That's for sure, especially in that one.
Again, another fun fight. Jake Matthews again gets the win. Look good. I thought for him, being the veteran here, it was safe to just get the win. Just get the win and keep moving up. Especially like it's hard with these guys. Been in the UFC 11 years. Is he gonna get up to the point where he's gonna get a title shot? I don't know, but like, you gotta win. So just get a win by any means, and that's what he did here. He didn't put himself in too many insane positions where he sacrificed possibly losing. But again, his punches were landing. The jabs were landing. So he could just sit there and stick at him all night long, and he was doing it and ended up winning every round 30-27. So shout out to Jake Matthews. A great fight. We both picked him. We're starting off hot on the main card with a win for both of us. But then our next one, as you can see here, Jimmy Crute, Rodolfo Bellato, which is in blue. And you might say, what the heck does that mean? We got a draw. We got our first draw. This might be our first draw that we've ever had doing this.
Yeah, maybe? I think maybe we've had one, but definitely the first one in a while.
I mean, it's very rare you even see draw in UFC because usually you're getting screwed if you think you won, or you know what I mean? But Jimmy Crute, Rodolfo Bellato, this was a fight. It was a fight.
It was interesting.
The reason why it was a draw is because Jimmy Crute dominated the first round. Absolutely dominated, and did get a 10-8 round, and that led to the draw. So, I don't know. Bellato's supposed to be some great jiu-jitsu guy, and I don't doubt that. But what the fuck was he doing?
Yeah.
Jimmy Crute's just too strong and too big, and like he looked like a freaking bull in there. So maybe that was the case. But Bellato was like letting him lay on him, and he wasn't really trying to advance position. But Jimmy Crute was like, "Fuck you! I'm just going to elbow you then," and he was. And I think Bellato has skin of steel because he wasn't cut, and I don't know how. But
totally,
he was landing some nasty elbows, and he was just like fine, like he looked fine, which was crazy. But he did have Alex Pereira in his corner who was yelling at him to like fucking go,
dude.
Jimmy Crute, first round, as far as the first round goes, he looked great. And I thought this was going to be easy for him after seeing this first round. Take him down, dominate him on the ground, get it done. And he almost finished him at the end of round one. He hit him and dropped him.
Yeah.
And if there was like 10 seconds left, I think he would have got the finish. But the bell rang, and he did.
Dude. Yeah. That first round was crazy, bro. I was like, damn, well, this is not going to be good for me with that pick.
And then we come out in the second round, and Bellato turned it up, and Jimmy Crute turned it down.
Yeah.
Because then it was more even.
Exactly.
Bellato wasn't letting Jimmy Crute control him as much. He was landing some nice leg kicks. He hurt his leg for sure. Hurt his leg because Jimmy Crute was like limping, and he's had issues with that leg in the past. I think he not the last fight, but the fight before the last fight, 2 fights ago. I think it was stopped due to leg kicks because he obviously couldn't continue. But Bellato, again, kicks. Jimmy Crute had some decent strikes in there, but I thought the round probably went to Bellato, but not anything crazy. And then the third round was basically much of the same, and it evened out. And I, going into the decision, I thought Bellato won it. I was like, I think Bellato won, but then you never know with 10-8 rounds. But I was like, I think Jimmy Crute might have got a 10-8 round in the first, so maybe it's a draw. But if I were to pick one, I think Bellato got that just because of 2 and 3. But they gave him a 10-8, so it ended up being a draw. Yeah. I'm not mad at the decision.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Crute is becoming a bit of a draw merchant. I think he had like one not too long ago, and maybe 2 fights ago.
Second draw.
Yeah. So I saw somebody won a bunch of money off betting on that fight being a draw. I'm like, dang, 2020 vision for real. Because it's I definitely think that it was definitely a very close fight. So I'm not mad at it being a draw. I honestly thought that those last few rounds were, I don't know. It's definitely tough when it's like one guy clearly won a round dominant, but then the next few rounds are kind of close. But yeah, I definitely am not mad at the draw whatsoever. I really wasn't too impressed with either guy's performance, honestly. I feel like
Jimmy Crute retired his last fight, put his gloves down, he was done. His father convinced him to not retire and he come back. Coming back, I really thought like he was gonna like go for it. Like, I need to win this one now.
Yeah.
If I lost and contemplated retirement last time, I need to win this one.
And he's not old at all.
First round, he did that. But then he didn't. And maybe that was because of the leg. He was clearly limping and hurt, but I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely interesting fight. Definitely interesting scenarios where these fighters go from here, where not really a good performance for either guy. I mean, Bellato showed toughness. Crute showed that he could dominate one round, but not much after that. So I'm interested to see where these guys go from here. I really don't think either of these guys are like super. I'm like, they're definitely great fighters, but I don't know if I'd ever see them being, ranked and making any crazy run. That's for sure. But it was definitely a somewhat entertaining fight, just in terms of how Bellato came back from that 10-8 round.
Yeah, it was not terrible. But you know what? We both won Bellato, we both drawed, so now it was getting a little wonky here. And then we go into the next fight, Justin Tafa versus Taliesin Teixeira. I went with Tafa, you went with Teixeira. So before we get into it, because we'll get into the fight because it wasn't much of a fight. But I went with Tafa because he talked about, man, I want this win. He's in front of his home country. He said he was going to make it a war. And it was a war, kind of.
One-sided war. It was like a nuke dropped.
We'll get into it. So basically, much like the first fight of the card, it didn't last that long. It was a little longer than 19 seconds, but it didn't last quite long. Round 1, TKO. Taliesin Teixeira knocks out Justin Tafa with a elbow to the absolute face. Like, his forearm just covered his face. It wasn't even a jaw to the chin. It was everything.
It was like his eye socket, like everything.
Yeah. Dropped him and then finished him on the ground. But then Tafa complained that the ref didn't give him time. I'm not mad at this finish. He dropped like a ton of bricks. He fell down bad. I was like, he's out. And then he complained, nah, brother, you were out.
Bro, clear.
Especially when there was like a still of his elbow against his face, and Tafa was like out of it with his whole face mask down. Brother, you're done. You're done.
Bro. You're done. You might be done in the UFC too, Tafa. You might be.
So you went with Teixeira, so you got this one.
Yeah, dude.
Hell of a win.
Was not as confident as the results showed. I honestly thought that Tafa might come in here and chin this dude, but just because sometimes the taller fighters kind of leave the chin up in the air against these shorter guys, and I thought, hey, maybe Tafa goes in there and clips him. So I was kind of worried about that. But, man, Teixeira showed that he is the real deal in there, dude. He made complete light work of this. Like, he did not look worried about the power whatsoever. And once he got him where he wanted him and got that elbow, it was over. Like, that was insane. Like, he made that look easy. He didn't even break a sweat, it looked like. Like, he
Quick
made
turnaround.
Tafa. 100%. We need to see him back in there ASAP. Now, dude, like I was saying about prospects, this is another one of them where I'm like, dude, this guy could really go places in the UFC. I mean, this dude's 6'7", freaking giant, dude. Like, I want to see him, like, fight another big boy in there that's tall. Like, maybe him and Volkov down the road a few fights from now. Maybe not right now. I don't know if I'd want to see him go in there right now, but man.
Yeah.
Throw him in there against someone pretty decent and see if he passes that test again because, dude, he made Tafa look like a complete joke, if I'm being real.
Yeah, so the reason I went with Tafa was 2 reasons. One, like you said, the shorter fighter possibly leaves his chin up, and then,
Tafa has the power. Definitely has the power.
He does have the power, for sure. And I don't want to make this comparison, especially in hindsight, but going into the fight, Robelas to Spain. So Robelas to Spain was also a defeated fighter who looked like a killer.
Right?
Yeah, huge. And hey, shout out to him. He's doing great in karate combat. But I thought when he came into the UFC, it was like, this guy's a killer, and then he gets taken down, and then he has nothing. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
The size was the thing, but then once you take the size away from him, he has nothing. Now, Teixeira was dominating everyone. I think he's like 8 wins in a row, all 8 by first-round knockout.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, what happens if this guy gets taken into a second round or he gets taken down? Then what? So I thought maybe with Justin Tafa, who's an absolute veteran, he would have the hindsight to maybe test that, but he didn't get the chance. So that's on me, but that's the reason I picked Tafa. I thought, like, man, he's going to take this guy down or,
dude.
Take him into deep water, but he didn't. Yeah, Teixeira apparently just hits way too hard, and he didn't get that chance.
Yeah, Teixeira, dude. I'm definitely interested to see what happens when he fights a wrestler, like you said. Kind of like when Despain fought a wrestler and it was over with.
Barely even fought a wrestler. He fought fucking what's his name? The football player. I'm blanking on his name. He's not even a wrestler, but
Lane,
he had the
right?
Lane.
Lane.
He had the hindsight to take him down, and he just won like that. So it was like,
for real. He wasn't even a wrestler. So this might be even worse if he fights it.
That's why I was like, hey, if Tafa takes him down, this could be similar.
Yeah. Not at all. Yeah. Teixeira, dude. I want to see him in there, bro. 6'7", hits like a freaking truck, dude. Like,
but
who knows?
Maybe on the flip side of that, UFC knows, like, hey, we don't want this guy to end up like this thing. Let's just put him in there against strikers for now.
They're like, next fight, Tuivasa.
Fuck it. Like,
did you see Tuivasa, bro?
Fuck it. He looks fucking huge. He's not in shape. Dude, he's massive. He's a fat boy.
Oh my god, dude. I'm glad he was having fun with his kid, but I'm like, he's looking massive.
He looks big, dude.
They might need to create a new freaking division for Tuivasa. Oh my god, bro.
300 and up.
Yeah.
Like, god damn. Tuivasa ain't fighting again.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he might be done after seeing him yesterday.
I mean, we had debate back when he last lost if he was going to retire.
Yeah, it looks like that decision has been made.
He hasn't officially retired, and he's still on the UFC roster, but he looks like he's retired.
Definitely
looks like he's on that DC retirement tour.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
But if he is going to fight again, and he can get in shape, fuck it, put him against Teixeira. Let's see.
Yeah.
Tuivasa's going to throw hands. He's going to throw hands. So let's just see how it goes. Yeah, I'll take that all day. But you went with Teixeira. I went with Tafa. Yeah, you were at this point 7-2 at this point, and
7-2-1. Yeah,
and I was 4-5-1. I was.
Then the comeback.
I lost, but the comeback, hey, decent. I came above
500. That's cool. As long as we're right more times than we're wrong, you can trust us, guys.
100%. But we were definitely right, and every single person else was wrong about
Yeah.
this fight, and I
Especially
don't
the
know why.
betting line.
Dude, I feel like I'm insane. I felt like
Yeah.
a crazy person going into this fight because Zhang Weili, the champion, arguably one
Yeah.
of the best women in the world,
Yeah.
against an
Literally.
11-0, which is impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive, no doubt. 11-0, Tatiana Suarez, who had some issues with her knees and leg injuries, and hasn't fought the biggest competition, to
Yeah.
say the least. And they put Whaley as an underdog.
What
Whoa,
were they thinking?
what are you doing? So
Real,
you
dude.
know what I did? Max saw that line. He said, I bet on Whaley. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm betting on Whaley too. So I threw money on Whaley to double my money, and it fucking worked because who in the hell is behind these
Literally.
bookings and said, you know what? I think Zhang Weili, the best fighter in the women's division, especially at this weight, is an underdog.
Yeah.
What?
What were they
What?
smoking?
And it wasn't even the betting lines. I've seen other MMA fighters. I've seen MMA legends, analysts. Hell, Ariel Helwani himself picked Tatiana Suarez, and I was like, "Am I crazy? Am I not
Yeah.
seeing something that everyone else is seeing?"
Yeah. I don't
Zhang
know what.
Weili is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. Like one of the
And
most athletic women's fighters we've ever seen. Like literally, bro. Like one
like
of
I
the
told
best.
Max, I told him before the show, we were talking about this last fight. Zhang Weili fought Amanda Lemos, and people, not to this level, but people said the same thing. If Lemos gets her down, she's going to use her jiu-jitsu, and she's going to finish Weili. That was not the case at all. Weili was able to get out of any position she was in on the ground, able to and then hold her down,
Yeah.
and she's fucking strong. Like, this girl's strong as shit, apparently, because
Dude,
nobody can get up.
we've seen her pick up in Ghana, dude, and people thought she was gonna get out
Yeah.
wrestled, dude. I'm like, bro, I don't
And
know
I'm like,
where
dude,
this Whaley disrespect came from, bro. I'm like, I don't know if people are just that high on Suarez. I'm like, I know Suarez is a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, she's a very great wrestler, but she's one-dimensional, bro. I'm like, she cannot stand up. Like,
if I ever see Zhang Weili as an underdog again, I'm going to lose my mind.
yeah, bro. I was opening up my betting app. Okay, let me see what these UFC odds are looking like for this. Oh, I was expecting Weili to be like a minus 300 or something, bro. I'm like, she's an underdog. I was literally in shock. I text all my homies. I'm like, bro, if you guys want to make money this weekend, bet on Weili. I'm like,
I told my brother the same thing. I said,
yeah,
if you're going to bet on Weili right now.
best
Like,
value
why the
I've ever seen, bro. I'm like, how is Weili Zhang an underdog? I'm like, and Suarez is not young or anything. I'm like, bro, she's only 1 year younger than Zhang. It's like Zhang's 35, Suarez is 34. I'm like, neither of these fighters are exactly young prospects, but they just expected Suarez to suddenly become like ultra
God?
well-rounded for real. Yeah, like the Khabib of the women's division. I'm like, bro, that is not happening, especially against Weili. I'm like, Weili, I'm like, bro, where is this disrespect coming from? How has it? It's like, I just don't get it. It's like people think that because Rose out wrestled her 4 years ago, 5 years ago, that she's somehow a bad wrestler. I'm like,
if
first of all,
Whaley's an underdog again, I
yeah,
would be okay with Whaley being an underdog against Rose. Rose only,
yeah,
because Rose did beat her twice. But anyone else,
yeah,
what the fuck?
real, bro. I'm like, that was just insane, bro. And I'm like, bro, since that fight, I'm like, Zhang has gotten so much better, bro. I'm like, every
Yeah.
time I see her fight, she seems like she's improving. Like, she's so explosive on the feet, bro. It's like Tatiana is a great fighter, but it's like, bro, the stand up was just not anywhere close whatsoever. Like the explosiveness versus Tatiana's flat footedness was just insane. Like Zhang was just in and out before Tatiana could even touch her, dude. And then it's like Tatiana started out good with the stand up with the wrestling in round one, but after that she started looking
I thought
tired,
she won
dude.
round one, yeah.
Yeah, she
I thought
started
Tatiana
after
didn't
round
win.
one. For real, she looked good. I was honestly a little worried, but then Zhang adjusted, showed why she's the champion, and dominated from there on out, bro. And Suarez had never been past round 3 in her entire career, and people are having her as a favorite. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
how is she a favorite in a
Bro.
championship fight when she's
Bro.
never been past 3? And Zhang has been past 3 a million times. I'm like, bro, I'm just happy that she was the underdog because we capitalized on it. But yeah, dude, the disrespect was crazy, dude. I freaking love Zhang. I think she's one of the best fighters of all time for a woman. It's like
Yeah,
Nunes, Shevchenko. I'd put her above Rousey for sure. It's like those are pretty much my top
I'll
three.
make a hot statement. I don't care. Zhang Weili's number one for me.
Yeah.
She's number one. Like, there's no woman who's Khabib. There's not. They've all lost. They've all taken a loss.
Yeah.
At least one. When it comes to fully well-rounded mixed martial arts, especially now, Zhang Weili's the best. She's the best. Shevchenko got out-wrestled and choked out by Grasso.
Yeah, who's more of a boxer, we thought.
Yes. Amanda Nunes, fantastic, but I think now if she were to fight the people who she should have fought coming up right now, she would lose, and she fucking lost to Pena. Pena's not the best for sure. Yeah. So I think Zhang Weili is the best. And there's a part of me that thinks maybe they run back that Rose fight just to see if Weili can knock that off of her record. But I don't know now because Rose is like so up and down.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zhang Weili, I don't know why they doubt this girl. So like you mentioned with the Rose fight, back then, that was what did you say, 5 years ago now?
Yeah, 4 or 5, yeah.
Weili was she wasn't new, but she was just, coming up, and she won the title pretty fucking fast.
Yeah, and it was like,
remember that.
She had been she was basically like not getting challenged whatsoever, dude. Like she was basically running through the whole division. Yeah.
Mostly striking.
Yeah.
So back then, 5 years ago, she was new, she was fresh. She didn't, I don't want to say she didn't have wrestling, but she didn't have the experience now because she wasn't tested. And then Rose tested her. And it felt like she got tested by Rose for the wrestling. Was like, okay, I need to change this. And she put her fucking wrestling shoes on, and she got to work, and now nobody's out wrestling her. I think if she fought Rose, that fight's completely different now.
I agree.
Zhang Weili is the strongest woman in that division.
Yeah. And
period.
And what's crazy,
and she's small. She's small.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say, dude. It's like some of these women in the past just kind of have that crazy physicality where you could tell they're bigger than a lot of their opponents. We've seen that with Nunes for sure, where she was freaking huge in there.
Yeah, Nunes, Ronda,
yeah, exactly. But with Zhang, it's like, bro, she's not anywhere near the biggest even in her division. But she's talking about going up in weight. I'm like, dude, if she goes up in weight and beats Shevchenko, then she really is the go. I'm like, that would be insane.
I thought Suarez looked bigger than her.
Yeah, I definitely, dude. And like, I think that if Zhang can go up in weight and still somehow win, bro, that would just be one of the craziest things ever for a fighter. Where it's like they really don't have any business going up in weight, if we're being honest. Like, she's pretty small.
She's the fucking dude. Like,
she's like tiny.
I felt like I was losing my mind watching everyone be like, "Oh my God, Tatiana's going to dominate her," especially after round one. Because round one. So what I think in my head, obviously, this is just made up by me, but I would like to think that Zhang Weili wanted to feel the wrestling of Suarez. So she's like, get a feel of it. Okay, now I know how strong she is, what I can do, if I can stop her. Because Suarez got her down in round one. Won the round because she just,
got her down
stayed on her, clenched her, got her down quickly. After that, Weili stuffed everything.
Yeah, it was. Everything. And would reverse it and be on top.
Oh, reversing me on top. Dude, there was one. I can't remember if it was third or fourth round, but Tatiana Suarez, Weili kind of tripped and fell, and then Suarez dove in while she was on her knee to get the takedown. Easy takedown. And Weili got out of it. And I'm like, how the fuck did she just get out of it?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? And
then Weili, bro, probably one of the best takedown defenses in the UFC.
And because of that, like you said, Suarez hadn't up to that point, going past round 3. Man, she was tired. She was fucking tired. Bro. Mouth open, like shooting, just fucking shooting for prey. Like, please just fall down. And Weili was like, no, stuff the head. At one point, she was clinching, trying to take her down. And Weili's like, you're not taking me down. I'll just fucking trip you. And she did.
Yeah.
It was
The one where Weili is on one leg, bro. On one leg. She's like bouncing on one leg for like so long. It was insane.
Not only on one leg, Tatiana had her other leg like fucking up here.
Yeah,
like, it was like anyone else lands that takedown, and Weili was like just bouncing on one leg and then got out of it. I'm like, wow, what is happening? How's she so good? Dude, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, people doubted this.
Yeah.
People doubted this.
Bro. And I'm like, it's not like this is anything new. I'm like, she's been a dominant fighter for real for like her entire career besides the Rose fights. Literally, the Rose is the only fighter that's really been able to do much to her, bro. I'm like, it's insane, bro. It's like Rose is a kryptonite, but besides that, easy work, bro. Like, it's insane how good she is.
And people have a knock on Weili about, going to decisions. But she's not putting on boring fights.
Exactly, dude. I'm like, bro, you can't see those fights and tell me she wasn't going for the KO. She was definitely going for the KO.
Yes, and one thing that they pointed out, which I love that they pointed out, Zhang Weili, I don't want to compare her to Merab because it's different, but she's like the Merab of striking. She won't fucking stop. She will not stop striking. Anytime she can hit you, she's hitting you.
Yeah.
Tatiana Suarez trying to take her down, she's elbowing her in the stomach. She's punching her in the ribs. She's trying to get that head. If she were standing up, she's fully striking, kicking to the legs, to the body, head, body, head. On the ground, she's punching you in the ribs. Even if she's on the bottom, she will not stop striking.
Yeah.
And it helps so much because then the opponent's like, I got to get a fucking break and stop getting hit. I need to back up. And then once you back up, Weili's right there. She's fucking fast. Her hands are so fast. Her kicks are so fast. Like, Merab is constantly like that with the takedowns. I'll take you down. Weili's like, I'm going to fucking strike you until I hit you. I don't care if I miss.
Yeah. And she's like, keep going. She's like, and I'm not going to be tired for 25 minutes while doing it. Literally, dude.
Bro, she didn't look tired at all.
Yeah. She's literally like screaming, fully fine after the fight, not freaking breathing heavy at all. I'm like, dude.
And she has more finishes than she has decisions. She has 7 decisions, but she has 11 knockouts. She has 8 submissions. Her resume right now, Tatiana Suarez, Jean Xiaonan, Amanda Lemos, Carla Esparza, Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice, Jessica Andrade, Keisha Pennington, Jessica Aguilar, Danielle Taylor, and that was her first UFC fight. So all of them, and the only 2 losses were Rose Namajunas, one by head kick knockout. She got caught. She got fucking caught. Rose
that one was crazy.
Up so fast, and she called her. Round 1, called her, finished her.
Prime Rose is one of the GOATs too.
They had the rematch, and it went 5 rounds split decision. Rose didn't even beat her clean. Split decision in the 5th round. So it's like, outside of Rose,
who is one of the GOATs as well.
Who the fuck is left? Who's left with this girl? There's one left, and her name is Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah.
And that's what she wants. She wants it. Weili wants it badly. She's calling it out. On the post-fight press conference, Dana White, someone asked him, who's pound for pound number 1? Is it Valentina or is it Weili? And he said, guess we got to find out.
I like it.
So it looks like that's next. And if that is next,
bro, that would be one of the best fights.
Manon Fiorot, you got to wait, bro. Because I need to see Weili and Shevchenko. You got to wait, man. I'm sorry.
Real,
Step back.
There's no one more for her to fight, bro. It's like she would beat everyone in her division. Let's just be real.
Bro, Weili is like – but there is one issue with this, obviously we talked about, is the size. So it's hard for me to be like, does she beat Shevchenko? If she were, keep the belt, drop the other one, and just stay up? But it's like, I don't know because of the size.
Tough one. Yeah, because I don't know.
Some people in the division aren't that big.
Yeah, I feel like exactly. Or it's like Valentina is probably isn't the biggest for that division, but Fiorot might be a little crazy for
her. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's so up and down, and then you have like, I don't know.
Blanchfield is in that one. Like who else?
Yeah.
Rose is now up there too, so maybe they do run her back.
Rose is up there. They can run. Rose also lost to Fiorot, who should be next. So it's like it's convoluted, but at the same time, who gives a fuck? Because we need to see Weili versus Shevchenko.
Yeah,
we do.
We need to see a challenge.
There's a lot of times where you hate to see someone move up because they take away from, whoever's
contenders.
next. like Islam moving up or Topuria moving up, and you're like, I don't know, because Islam didn't beat this guy, or Topuria needs to continue to defend his title. But for these two, it's like, dude, what else did they have to prove? Valentina has beaten everyone. Everyone she lost to, she got it back. And then Whaley's beaten everybody but Rose, who moved up. So she can't fight her unless she does move up. So it's like, let's just see Whaley and Shevchenko.
Make it happen,
we need
Dana.
that fight.
Yes,
who's the number one GOAT? That will be the decider. If Shevchenko beats Whaley, I'll retract my statement and say Shevchenko is the GOAT. But for now, Dom Whaley is the greatest female mixed martial artist.
And then who knows? All this GOAT talk might lure Amanda Nunes out of retirement. She's like, oh, these people think they're the GOAT. Let me come back. For real. That really spice things up.
No,
and then Jane goes up in weight again and fights Nunes. No.
That'd be
a little too much, I think.
And I'm still baffled by the fact that they doubted her. Don't doubt,
bro. How?
Don't doubt Weili Zhang. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot about Weili Zhang.
For real, bro. I'm like, I love Tatiana, but I'm like, bro, it's not like she is like a new face to the UFC. I'm like, how do you guys think she's gonna beat Zhang? I'm like, bro, she's been around for a while, and I'm like, I've never seen her put on a performance anywhere near the type of level that we've seen Weili at the top of the best of the entire division. I'm like, bro, like it was just crazy. So I'm glad we capitalized. I hope all you guys did out there as well, because you should have.
If you bet on Tatiana Suarez,
if you guys saw when we posted our picks, you should have known. When you saw Brady and Max agreed, it's a lock.
It's a lock for sure.
It's a lock.
And Weili is like, oh my god, Weili is the star of China.
Oh yeah, it's like she's carrying the MMA scene on her back.
She's so nice. Like she's just like a nice ass person.
Aussie.
Like she did it out there.
So wholesome, bro.
No one hates her. Like they talked about Wang Kong, who's also there, but she got to meet Weili for the first time this weekend. She was excited and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm meeting Weili! I can't believe it," which is cool.
I love that.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk was there supporting Weili, and Weili knocked her out. So it just goes to show, like,
disformed her whole face for
everyone likes Weili. But when she gets in that cage, she turns into a demon. Stop doubting her. Stop doubting her.
Stop doubting the GOAT, bro. Disrespect.
Yeah. We both picked Weili. Of course, she is the GOAT. And then we head into the main event and stop doubting Mr. DDP, because Dricus
another GOAT. No, okay, maybe not that far, but
he's not there yet. But man, he's on a roll. I'll say that. Dricus du Plessis is man. Dude. One thing I'll say about Dricus du Plessis, they doubt him as far as entertainment. Yeah, I think Dricus is entertaining. I don't know why people hate on him. He's good. So Dricus du Plessis for Sean Strickland. As you can see, Dricus du Plessis, he won. We both picked him. I knew this was going to happen, but I will admit, I didn't expect it to happen like this. Dricus du Plessis dominates and wins a unanimous position 50-45, 50-45, and 49-48. So one judge gave one round to Sean, which is, I don't know what round, but whatever. Who cares? Because Dricus dominated everyone else. Like, so round one, man, Sean, okay, so how do I put this? People really hype up the jab of Sean. And I'm not doubting it because it's fucking good when it lands. He busted up Dricus' nose in this fight. His nose had a cut on it. His eye was a little black and blue. But when that's all you have, bruh, I talk about it all the time. I talked about it last week about if you can't wrestle, like you can't you need to be well-rounded.
Yeah.
And Sean, now, in fairness, didn't really need the wrestling in this fight. But if all you have is a fucking jab, bruh, you gotta do something. Yeah. And I don't know, I just don't know what Sean's game plan here was, because he started out with the jab, like we all knew, like, okay, he's doing it. But Dricus is like cutting angles. He's throwing from any angle. He's throwing everything.
Yeah.
Like I talked about with Weili, always trying to hit you. Dricus, same type of thing. He's going to throw. and most likely he's gonna miss, but he's gonna hit that one fucking shot, and it's gonna hurt you.
Exactly, bro.
He's fucking cutting angles and is wailing, and then he like hits a shoulder, and then he's like throwing, and Sean blocks it. But he's like, I'm gonna keep fucking doing it, like it's working, and it does work because visually works. For the judges, you see DDP just constantly working, and then Sean's like, wait. But then this whole time, Drickus is throwing like 18 shots.
Yeah.
And then Sean lands one. And Sean's landing. Like he's landing. He's landing that jab, and he's hurting most of his opponents. He's hurting them. But after that one shot, if Drickus is getting in 18, even if he's not hurting you as bad visually, he's fucking you up because he's doing more. His activity is higher. And that 100%. Was the story of this fight, especially in the first round. And Sean's coaches knew it. Sean's coaches absolutely knew it.
Eric Nixick was pissed, bro.
First round, it was like, okay, you, whatever. Okay, you're just starting out. You're throwing that jab. Let's up it. Let's try and throw some kicks in there. Go to the body. He was trying to really get him to go to the body, throw the kicks. Second round, much of the same. Sean's throwing that jab, and I think second round was where he cut him, so he did hurt him a little bit there and kind of like wobbled him back. Because, hey, like I said, that jab, it works.
Mm-hmm.
If it's sticking, it's landing, but it's like just one. You need combos. You need combinations because you might cut him open once, and then here comes fucking Drickus with 16 kicks, a spinning back elbow, a spinning kick, and you're like, well,
all thrown at 100% for real. Though.
Exactly, and he don't get tired. That boy don't get tired. I don't know what's wrong with Drickus.
For real, bro.
Drickus is like,
especially for someone that big, bro.
Drickus is running on a treadmill the entire fight, and then just like, all right, are we ready? When the fight's over, it's like, what the fuck, dude? You just like ran like 100 miles, and now you're ready to start now. Like, so then, end of the second round.
Insane.
End of the second round, much of the same. Coach yelling at Sean, like, fucking do something. Like,
he's like, turn it up. So they were like, Sean's low-key getting pissed at his corner. I'm like, well, he should be getting pissed at Drickus. How about that? I'm like,
I think,
channel that anger towards Drickus. I'm like,
I think it was second or third round. His corner was like telling him like, fucking do something, and Sean walked away. He's like, fuck this shit, like, whatever. And Dana White pointed it out. A lot of people pointed it out. Whatever Sean's game plan was, either A, was a terrible game plan, or B, he did not stick to it. Because he wasn't frozen, but it was like he was like very timid. I don't know if he was like scared to get taken down like that bad.
Yeah, it was a weird fight. It was like he almost seemed like he was just like accepting the loss. Like, bro, he was not pushing. Like what was weird was when he would throw combos, he would land, but then he would do that like one time around. Yeah, he'd like do that one time around and then go back to just
that time. By that time, Drickus is already 18 combos.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And then
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, and then Drickus freaking good because he throws so much, like, and at so much with so much power, dude. It's only a matter of time before he catches you with something big, and that happened, and it freaking broke Sean's nose, freaking destroyed it, bro. I thought Sean was done right there. It looked like he wanted to quit.
So
like he was just holding it. Like
Drickus lands a big shot, blood. Nose
gone,
and immediately Sean grabs his nose. Like immediately, he was like, "Oh fuck!"
Like, what the fuck?
Starts running, not running, but like backing away. Like, and he's like, "What is this?" And apparently, he reset his nose back into place, which is crazy. But he reset it mid-fight, and then, but the blood was just
insane, bro, and the swelling.
Drickus cut him in the first round in his mouth, so he's already bleeding from his mouth, and then he's bleeding from his nose like crazy. Like badly, like all down his chest. And then it kind of seemed like it started to stop. And then Drickus caught him with a fucking head kick. And then it started bleeding more. And it's like, oh my God, Sean. I honestly thought he was just going to like curl down and just finish, but he didn't. So props to him. He's tough.
Definitely. Props to Sean for freaking. I thought after that nose was gone, I thought that he was done for, dude. That was so much blood. He started looking like Joker at one point, bro. It like had like it going up to here. I was like, oh my God. I'm like, Drickus is not letting this one be a close fight. Like he probably heard everyone say Sean was robbed in the last fight. oh, shouldn't even be champion. Sean should still be champion. No. Drickus showed that it was not a fluke that first time, and he's just a better fighter, dude. It's like Sean's style doesn't work against people that aren't gonna like against people like Drickus, who are just gonna keep coming at you no matter how much jabs you land.
And then we head into the fourth and fifth round was a lot of the same, and his coaches knew it. They told Sean, "You need a finish. Like, you need a finish, or you fucking lost." And he didn't get it. I mean, Drickus at one point took him down momentarily, and Sean got back up. I think Drickus was just like trying to show him it, like, I can do it if I want to.
Yeah.
And then, just the striking, spinning back elbows landed. He tried for some spinning kicks, didn't land, but looked cool. And then, just domination. You throw into the body, throw into the legs, throw into the head. Really, just once he broke that nose, he was targeting that nose, and then
Drickus tried to kill him after he broke that nose, bro. Drickus was going for the absolute finish, like for the kill. He wasn't landing really, but dude, that was insane to see Drickus just. But once he saw that blood, he was like, "Bro, I'm gonna try to knock his head off." But
that's the thing with Drickus. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Drickus can like fucking knock somebody out if he's not being wild. So it's like he almost has to be insane with it, but half the time he doesn't land. So I don't know if he can just like stay still and be like composed and then get the knockout. But every time we see him knock out, it's fucking like and he fucking does it.
Catches you at the very end for real.
Yeah, like Whitaker. I mean, fucking insane. So he didn't get the finish, but he did dominate the fight again. 50-45, 50-45, 49-48. Somebody gave it to one round to Sean.
Now what's next?
Great fight. So Drickus goes on the mic, says that he wishes he would have got a finish, but Sean is tough. He was trying, but at least he dominated the fight to obviously prove like, hey, I won this one. You can't say I didn't win. I won this one. He called out Alex Pereira. Crazy.
Brave man.
But his full call out on the post-fight press conference, he did call out Khamzat Chimaev. He said Khamzat's next. He said Khamzat's next. I will fight Khamzat next. And man, give props to Drickus du Plessis because this fucking guy, man, I don't care what anyone says. If you want to say Sean out here calling him like gay and shit and like just like making fun of the guy and yada yada yada. Dude, he's fucking great fighter. He's entertaining and he fights anyone. He's fought anyone. He fought Izzy. He fought Sean. He beat Sean. And then people say, Sean beat you? Okay, I'll fight him again. I'll beat him this time. Now he's calling out Khamzat, who's undefeated. Nobody wants to fight. Just killed Robert Whitaker and broke his face. And now he's like, let's fucking go. He calls out Alex Pereira, which is not going to happen, but like the scariest guy in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, put respect on this guy's name. He's fighting. He will fight. He will fight anyone. It doesn't matter. So,
I will say. Respect. I think that if he does beat Khamzat, and then I do think he should fight Imavov as well before he moves up. Well, if he's able to beat both those guys, it's like, bro, may as well move up.
He said that he believes it should be Imavov versus Sean Strickland. Him versus Khamzat, and the winners fight each other again.
I like it.
But
so he called out Alex just for fun?
Yes. Well, if he moves up, then maybe,
right?
There is a third guy in this mix. Possibly.
Israel Adesanya.
No, that's Jared Cannonier. Next weekend, Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodriguez fight. If whoever wins, there's 4 guys now because if Gregory wins, he's on a roll. I think Sean's out. He lost to Drickus twice now. Fuck him. Go back to the Apex and restart. Whoever wins, Cannonier and Rodriguez should fight Imavov. Imavov just fought, so it's not an insane layoff between either one. They can figure that out. Imavov versus whoever wins next weekend between Rodriguez and Cannonier. And then we do, obviously, Khamzat and Drickus. And then whoever wins those 2 fight, because I don't want to see Drickus and Sean again. I don't know if Sean would beat Imavov, but like he doesn't deserve a title fight again. Why were you fighting the number 1 contender after you just lost 2 back-to-back title fights? Like, I don't think that should happen.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
Sean should
100%.
probably just like go fight somebody else, try and build himself back up maybe. But as far as contenders, Imavov is next, but because of Hamzat, Hamzat's next. Like
Yeah,
Hamzat is next.
After next.
So in order for that, I mean, who knows? We talked about it last week on Hamzat. Who knows how long that could be? So
Yeah.
I think Imavov
Hopefully
has
soon.
to fight. Yeah, fingers crossed. But I think Imavov has to fight probably one more time just because of the
timeline wise, yeah.
So Cannonier Rodriguez next weekend I think would be great for Imavov, and then whoever wins Dricus and Hamzat. But then I have to get your thoughts on it. Dricus and Hamzat. How does that go?
That's a tough one, dude. I don't know. I think I'm really interested to see if Hamzat can take him down, because Dricus is so strong in there, dude. It's like, it's gonna be tough to control him, because it's like we've seen Hamzat control a lot of guys, but we did see him struggle with Usman, who obviously was a welterweight at one point. And I'm like,
Usman on short notice too.
Yeah, Usman on short notice too. It's like, obviously Usman's probably better skill-wise wrestling than Dricus for sure, but just that pure mass from Dricus I think might help him out. So I'm really interested to see who this fight goes with, because it's like, man, both of these guys, I think I want to see what they look like if this goes all 5 rounds. I want to see what Hamzat looks like against Dricus after 5 rounds, because we haven't really seen Hamzat go. I don't think, has he gone a full 5? I don't think so. Has he?
Gilbert Burns.
Gilbert Burns, was that a 3-rounder though? I think it might have been 3. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, was it 3? Let me look it up. But that did go to the decision.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up Burns is because Gilbert Burns changed my perception on Hamzat Chimaev. Because
that was a tough fight.
I think that if somebody can fight Hamzat, who can at least not be as good at grappling, but at least enough to defend, and a great striker, Hamzat's gonna have problems. And you know who that man is? Dricus du Plessis. He's decent enough in the grappling and strong enough where I think he can defend Hamzat. And when it comes to striking, I think that DDP is a better striker than Hamzat Chimaev at this moment.
Yeah, so I don't think that's crazy at all.
DDP gives him problems.
Yeah,
whether or not DDP wins, he gives him problems for sure.
And with Hamzat, you're always worried about his health. Like, is he going to come in fully 100%? You never know.
Probably not.
Yeah, knowing Hamzat, unfortunately not. So it
was 3 rounds. I looked it up.
It was
3 rounds.
Okay.
Burns.
So Hamzat, we've never seen him in deep waters. Like, I really am interested to see if his cardio actually holds up, or if he just gasses out badly, because I feel like even in that fight he gassed out a little bit, and it was only 3 rounds. So
no, he gassed out bad, bro. Yeah. In that 3rd round, he was tired.
Exactly.
He was really tired, and DDP don't gas out.
For real. So this is going to be a good one. I'm interested to see what the odds are, because that might influence who I'm picking for betting wise.
So I do think that if DDP is smart, which he is, he's going to push that pace to tire Hamzat out, and then, try and drag it into that 4th, 5th round. But obviously getting there is tougher than just saying
with Hamzat in there.
You never know. But I will say, I do think we're going to have a Weili situation where they're going to make DDP the underdog because of Hamzat's. Yeah, he's never been 5 rounds in his entire career and only went to 3 rounds twice. Just looked. I do think because of the wrestling and the undefeated streak, it's going to be much like Weili and Tatiana, where they make Hamzat the favorite. So
could make some money.
I'm going to have to throw some money on DDP there. You never know. Hey.
For real. Yeah, dude, hopefully that gets announced soon, and we don't have to wait forever.
If Dricus let's just hypothetically, if Dricus beats Hamzat and then beats Imavov, like, bro, he ran through everybody. There's nobody left.
Then fight Alex if he's still champ.
Yeah, like dude, seriously, he's ran through almost everyone. That Izzy, Sean twice, Whitaker, Hamzat, Imavov, like, somebody else is going to have to make a huge statement in order to get a title fight, because 100%. Nobody else deserves it right now. Dricus is killing everybody. But again, That's hypothetical. It's a tough test to get past Hamzat. But if Hamzat wins and he fights Imavov, I think Hamzat beats Imavov. So that's. But then after I see what he just did to Izzy, I'm like, well, maybe Imavov got dynamite in his hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Middleweight is very interesting now. Now that the Strickland saga is officially behind us, hopefully, we can hopefully get some more fun fights.
Oh, it's behind us. It's fine. There's no fucking way Dana gives that man a title fight again. If he gives him a title fight again, I'm protesting because he doesn't deserve it, bro. He didn't deserve the fight against Izzy, but he won, so fair. He then lost to Dricus. He gets a rematch after I thought he clearly lost, and he loses again. He's done. Go back. Go fight somebody else. Maybe he could fight the loser of Rodriguez and.
Yeah, I like that. I like that actually. Yeah, that could be good.
Just something different because, like, bro, you or hear me out. Maybe they do the rematch between Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya.
Interesting.
They're both coming off losses.
Yeah,
they're both coming off back-to-back losses at that.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I didn't think of that one. I wonder if Izzy
Fight
would
night
be
main
interested.
event,
Yeah,
non-title.
Yeah,
that's on it. And we do have to mention that we didn't mention yet, but it was announced during the show. Israel Adesanya is now a Hall of Famer, as his fight with Kelvin Gastelum went into the UFC Hall of Fame fight wing. So, yeah, congrats to both of them. That fight was incredible.
Gastelum, the Hall of Famer.
I'll never forget where I was at that fight. I was watching it on a desktop computer because at the time it was the only place I could watch because I watched it legally. No, I didn't. So I'm sitting there on this computer, like at a desk, like just sitting there. And it starts, I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this fight. And then by the time the fight was going on, I'm standing. I'm like, oh my God, this is insane. They beat the shit out of each other. That was a war.
Legendary,
right in
bro.
between the fifth round, Izzy's like, I'm ready to die for this shit. And you're like,
for
oh
real,
my
bro.
God.
Like, I'm prepared to die.
And you're like,
cinema. Absolute cinema.
And Kelvin wouldn't go away. He would not die. And it was
bro. That was an insane fight. That was the start of Izzy's like literally put himself on like, all right, this guy's the GOAT.
This guy's the fucking, like, he's the man. And sadly then died off now. But hey, it's in the Hall of Fame.
That was a legendary run.
So congratulations to both of them. That it really, really deserves. So props to both of them for fight wing. Two young guys now in the Hall of Fame. Kelvin Gastelum is a UFC Hall of Famer. How about that?
Let's go. Big boy Kelvin.
Yeah. So overall, again, people thought this show was bad.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Show.
Yeah, I'd give it like a B, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean,
definitely
nothing
not bad.
Terrible. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is fucking boring. Like,
yeah,
I thought it was fine, but we did end up 6-5-1 for me and 9-2-1 for you. You have now overtaken me. I am 22-13-1. You are 25-10-1.
We broke the tie.
I need to come back. And we will come back next weekend. We have a UFC Fight Night card, which I believe is in the Apex, but let me make sure.
Our favorite place.
Yeah, it is in the Apex. Yay. So we have a main event like we talked about, Jared Cannonier versus Gregory Rodriguez in our 5-round main event. In the co-main event, it's going to be a fun one. Yusuf Salal versus the returning number 10, Calvin Kattar.
Ooh.
I'll take that. Edmund Shabazian is back against Dylan Budka. We have Ismail Bonfim back against Nazim Sadikov. That'll be solid. Rodolfo Varela versus Andre Petroski. Solid. Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. We then have Angela Hill. This is the prelim portion. Angela Hill against Ketlin Souza. We have Jared Gordon versus Kyle Fernandez. Rafael Esteves versus Jose Aguilar. Gabriel Bonfim, so both Bonfim brothers, against Chaos Williams. So that'll be
that one will be fun.
Vince Morales versus Elijah Smith. Dontel Mays versus Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker.
Interesting.
And Julia Avila versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti kicking off the show. So the prelims start at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Saturday, with the main card kicking off at 7 p.m. So earlier than usual. But yeah, should be fun. But that was
in that one as well. Hopefully, Brady gets to come back on me.
Yeah, check out Bodyslam Net MMA on socials. I'll post our predictions and stuff there. And yeah, that was a fun Saturday. Hopefully next weekend is fun too. But we're not done this weekend because we have the Super Bowl tonight. So
Let's go.
everyone watch the Super Bowl. Before we leave,
Go
who is
Eagles.
it? Chiefs or Eagles? You going
Eagles.
Eagles? Do you have a score
Although I'm a
prediction?
little scared for them actually winning, but I'm rooting for them. But yeah, Eagles, let's say Eagles, it's got to be a blowout. Otherwise, Chiefs are winning. So Eagles 28-14.
Okay, I'll take that. I'm going to say the number that keeps popping in my head is 27-21 Eagles.
I like
So
it.
that's
I
what I'm
like
going
it.
with. That's
Let's
what I'm going with.
go. Let's go,
And then
Saquon.
MVP Saquon.
Please.
It's Saquon's MVP.
Saquon, baby.
For sure. Should be fun. Should be fun to see Kendrick Lamar. Let's see if anything happens there.
Let's
Said he has a
go,
big
baby.
special guest, and we'll see who it is.
Well,
But yeah,
gonna
go
be fun,
Eagles
bro.
because
Yeah.
I'm a Steelers, but we're
You're
in
going
Pennsylvania. Go Eagles and fuck
Pennsylvania.
Patrick. Fuck Patrick.
Yeah.
But yeah, should be fun. Thanks for watching. Again, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow if you're on Twitch, all that good stuff. And if you are on Twitter or socials, Facebook, follow, like, comment, all that. Wherever the hell you are, you know what to do. Do that. And we'll see you next week for UFC Fight Night in the Apex again. We'll see you next time. Peace.